Yep, we are live. Okay, yes, perfect. Well, welcome back to Cam and Focus Weekly. I'm your host, Cam. I'll get into the nitty-gritty of this here in just a minute, but first, let me go ahead and introduce my co-host today. With me is Andrew. How are you tonight?
Well, I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at, but I'm doing good.
You're looking at perfection made flesh.
Yeah.
And below me down here is Michael. How are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm fantastic. This is just a dream come true for a lot of us.
All right. Well, I'm going to angle the camera down here in just a second, but I'll go ahead and say a few weeks ago, I had said that if I had said in a Cantina happy hour stream that if my channel made it to 30 subscribers by that coming Sunday, I would do a stream wearing Princess Leia lingerie. So, by God, by that Sunday, I reached 32.
the sip of beer or whatever it is you're drinking, it was just like, that just screamed like noir detective. You know, by God.
So,
by God,
as promised.
I'm so glad I never had to do this.
Weren't you supposed to be the one to do it originally?
I was. If we hit 100, oh my gosh! Turn around.
Do a spin.
Do a spin. Yikes! Oh, never in my most wild fantasies did I have imagined that.
Let me just put this down here so you can get some of this stuff here.
Hey, my tits are down here.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Here we go.
Oh, nope. See,
yes,
he's like, you got the outfit. He's like, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I got that out of the way. Now I'm good.
He's like, I got it out of the way. I'm going to turn off my camera real quick and change.
I wish I could, but I made a commitment. You know, I gotta see this through to the end,
baby, right around like a record, baby, round, round, round.
That really melts my butter right there.
I got a fork in me. I'm done.
I gotta turn my AC down a little bit. I'm starting to get kind of warm. All right. Well. Now that the goods are out of the way, and I'll do like one more little glamour shot, by at the end of it here. But
well, now that that's out of the way, I'm leaving because I don't care about talking about the movie. I was just saying for that.
Something you use me for my body. I see how it is. I see how it is.
I got what I needed, and I don't need you anymore. So,
how are we gonna raise the children?
I get them on weekends. You have them during the week.
And Andrew just performed like he just pulled a Mike Myers Cat in the Hat. Dirty hoe. I'm kidding, baby.
Oh my God.
Love you.
Oh, that movie.
Oh, we should put it on the list. Put it on the list.
Yes.
Put it on the list.
I don't want to add that to the list. I really don't.
Did you want to add Gods of Egypt to the list though?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, well.
You're lucky this wasn't another Egyptian movie. There's no Egyptian comparison, really, that I can think of.
No, there's not, thank goodness. Well, I mean, you could make the argument that the Dracs may have built the pyramids.
That's true.
I can see it.
Yeah, that's true.
But.
Oh, well.
Oh, man.
So, yes, today we are taking a look at the 1985 film Enemy Mine. Now, this movie completely, I had never even heard of it until I was looking up films to do for this show. And I saw it. I read the premise. I saw who was in it. I saw who it was directed by. Now, it's directed by Wolfgang Peterson. If you don't know who that is, he directed Troy from 2004 with Brad Pitt, Eric Bana. He directed Air Force One. He directed The Never Ending Story. He directed A Perfect Storm. So this guy, he knows his stuff. He knows what he's doing. He has a pretty accomplished filmography.
Right.
and it stars Dennis Quaid. And Dennis Quaid, he's an enigma of an actor. I mean, even if he's one of those actors who, even if the movie he's in isn't good, he's still good.
Yeah.
And so this movie,
Fellow Texan.
What's that?
I said fellow Texan.
Yeah, well, see, there you go. Got to represent. I was born in Texas too, so
I was not.
Anyone born in Texas would not wear a Princess Leia bikini. So,
or maybe the people born in Texas are the only people who would.
Ah, that's true.
The only ones who got the grapes for it.
Listen, you would never get my fat ass into a Princess Leia bikini, and I was born right here in Florida, so.
Cam's like the meme, you can't choke in the playoffs if you never make the playoffs.
No, but I'm kind of choking right now with this damn thing around my neck.
Harder, Daddy. What?
Say what now?
That's why I love Netflix.
I want to be an Oscar Mayer wiener.
Oh,
I'm so glad I'm not at home right now.
God damn it.
so
Back to Enemy Mine.
Yeah, right, exactly. Let's stay on topic here.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, this movie starts off with a narration by Dennis Quaid about this war that's going on between the humans and the Dracs, who are this race of alien creatures. And there was something he said during that narration that I found actually kind of interesting. He said, as always, during times of war, there's long periods of waiting or long stretches where nothing happens. And I was like, that's actually a pretty profound statement, especially whenever you're looking at space war where everything is so spread out.
Mm-hmm.
But we're soon introduced to Dennis Quaid, whose character's name is like David or David or something.
It's Willis Davidge.
Willis Davidge. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
And they're out in space, and they're attacked by Drac bandits, I guess they are. So they get out in their little starfighters, and they go and they start, hunting them down. And then eventually one of those Drac starfighters kills one of the other pilots. And so Dennis Quaid, he just sees red, and he's on a warpath for revenge. So he chases this fighter to this planet, and he shoots him down. But his ship crashes as well. Now, first of all, the way that this story was set up with the narration and everything, I thought was really damn good.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, the atmosphere, the sound design, the narration itself, I was on board. I was like, holy cow, could this be the best thing ever?
I was not on board right at the very start. It wasn't until I would say it wasn't until maybe about 5 minutes into the movie where I really was like, okay. Because initially I'm like, credits through space? What are they trying to be, Star Wars? And then suddenly
the audacity.
Listen, and then the set looked like a high budget Star Trek film, and I was just I was like, oh, okay. I was like, because the planes, the ships are like very Enterprise, like the way that they're angled and stuff. They remind me of like Federation ships.
Great use of miniatures.
Yes. Oh my God.
They look
that
so
first shot
good.
where it's just like you just see like a globe come into view, and it's like, what is that? And then you realize it's some person's helmet that's busted open. It's
so good.
So
like
good.
What?
The practical effects in this movie were S tier, just absolutely fantastic.
100%. And you can see, and now as the movie goes on, and you look at the sets and everything like that. So you have the sets that they're on, and then like off in the back you can see like the matte painting of the background, and you can very clearly see the border of where the floor meets the painting. But even considering it still looked really good, and oddly enough, as I'm watching it and I'm seeing this devotion to practical effects, even though some areas might not look as good as others, I was thinking, you know what, this is kind of less of like a film and more of like a really high-end stage play. And I was 100% okay with that.
Yeah.
Since I'm the box office budget guy, I already looked it up.
Oh, it was terrible.
The budget was estimated to be about 40 million, and yes, the gross worldwide was 12.3 million.
Oh, yes, that's a hell of a bomb.
And the reason why, if you think about it, back in the 80s, sci-fi was big with the franchises like Star Wars and Star Trek. But if you were sci-fi outside of that, unless you had great word of mouth and great marketing, you weren't. It was rare to have like a profit, at least in the theater. You know, maybe when the Blu-ray or DVD, VHS comes out. Oh, you know,
Laserdisc.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought just 1 second. We have 5 new viewers watching this right now, so they didn't get to see the show at the beginning. So hold on a sec.
You're haunted, let's do it. Riding my pony, my saddle.
Careful, my mom's watching. Oh wait, that would make sense because he's in the layup.
Oh God!
Oh God! Whoa!
Kind of yanked the cord a little bit, and that was not a euphemism.
NSFW. This episode is now NSFW.
Demonetized.
I know you couldn't hear because you had your headphones out, but as you were dancing, I'm over here singing Pony.
Oh my gosh.
Oh goodness. Oh well, that got some attention.
Hey,
check out our donations in the description.
Donations. You know, send me like Victoria's Secret gift cards. Let's keep this going.
Oh man.
New business cam.
What's that?
Is this the new business model?
This is how we get the views now.
Right.
We just start every episode with the Cornhub intro.
Cam dancing is the new intro. Welcome to Cam and Focus.
Oh, that's all right, Dave. No worries. We miss you, bud. Hope you're feeling better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I told y'all a couple of weeks ago, you know, I'm going to get the Cam and Focus lingerie calendar ready.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Listen, I'll be December. I'll dress up as like a sexy Santa Claus.
So now that you've put it on stream, you have to suffer my pain. This is going to happen. This coming December, I expect you to show up wearing sexy Santa lingerie.
Wait, how about this? To make it fair for him, we'll have to hit a subscriber goal. 250. If we hit 250 subscribers by December 1st, Michael will dress up as Santa. 250. There you go.
So, there it is. We'll put a pin.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I will agree to that with the condition that I get to shamelessly plug my fanfic on the show.
Sure.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
All right, now tell everyone you know to come subscribe to Cam and Focus so we can hit that goal.
I'm going to tell my friends. I'm going to tell my family. I'm going to tell my patients. I'm going to tell everybody.
You're like, if you want me to do the surgery, you need to subscribe.
Listen. You're playing the long game right now. Come December, I promise you, it's going to be worth your while.
You're hyping it up really big there, bud. And honestly, I'm getting my hopes up now. So yes, let's make this happen. 250 subscribers by December 1st. Michael is going to do a stream in Santa lingerie. That's it.
Cam wakes up tomorrow. He's at 2,000 subs. What the
heck? Listen, I'll do it in Santa lingerie to go over like Santa or something. Like Billy Bob Thornton.
We can do that. We can do that.
Oh,
I do want to do like, you know, themed streams now and then, depending on, you know, where we're at in the year. But, you know, we'll cross those bridges when we get to them. Anyways.
Right. Anyway, back to the movie at hand.
Yes. So kind of take a step back here. I do understand that for all three of us, this was a first-time watch.
Yes.
I'll start. I'll switch it up a bit. I'll start with you, Michael. What are your overall thoughts with the movie? Like, what did you come out feeling at the end of it?
So I'm usually pretty good when it comes to certain types of movies of like getting an idea of how it's going to end. Like that's it's like a game I play with myself. Like, can I figure out how this is going to end? Can I predict the ending? And every time I thought I had it in this movie, I'm like, okay. As soon as I saw that the Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr., which by the way, fantastic performance from him. Just it was. I don't know if it was something that sound design did or if it was something that he was doing with his voice, with the way that the language of the Drax.
Oh, that was like it was like a roll in the back of his throat, and I can do that actually. It's how people make Chewbacca noises.
Yeah, but like he had such good control over it that
dude, it was impeccable.
Oh, it was phenomenal. But I knew as soon as I was like, okay, this is gonna be some like, Silent Night. I don't know if you've ever seen Silent Night. It's a movie about World War II during like Christmas time, where the Germans and Americans kind of made nice on Christmas. Anyway,
yes.
I was like, this is gonna be some like, we have to work together even though we're enemies type of movie, and it's gonna end with either one of them kills the other one or they both die. Like they either die or they get off, or they get away. Like that's the only way this ends. And then it's like, well, he leaves and finds out that there's bandits on the planet, and so he comes back and then finds out that Jerry is pregnant. Which, and it's just like, okay, and he's just
the race produces asexually or reproduces asexually.
Right. Well, and he tells him, he says, for your species, it's a choice. For us, it just happens when the time is right. Which to me is like, could you imagine if that was the case? Like, just suddenly your body decides you're having a baby now.
Cam's outfit's made.
I mean, my outfit is going to inspire a lot of pregnancies. I promise you.
But yeah. So it's just like, and then it's like, okay, well then Jerry dies having the baby, and now Dennis Quaid has to raise this alien child that he knows nothing. Like he knows very little about like how they're sustained and like what and it's just like, and he's promised his friend, like he has no hope of escaping this planet,
right?
And he's promised his dying friend that he will not only memorize his 700 generation lineage and will teach it to his child. He's like, yeah, I'm also going to take your child to your home planet, who hates humans, by the way, because apparently we've like, I'm at that point, I'm just like, I have no idea where this is going anymore. And then it turns into he's raising the kid, and then the kid gets kidnapped and he gets shot, and I'm like, what?
All kinds of twists and turns with this one.
There was so many just, oh my god, there were so many like Shyamalan moments, just like the twist.
What a twist!
What they twist? Yeah, it was crazy.
How about you, Andrew? What'd you come out of this movie thinking?
Yeah, I honestly didn't know what to expect going into it either. Like I read the tagline on the poster and was like, okay, they're gonna be like enemies or something the whole movie. That, like Michael said, one of them's probably gonna kill the other or something. And then you find out they're trapped on this planet, and I was like, oh, I did not think that's where that was going at all. And they just kept staying longer, and every scene there was a time jump, because Dennis Quaid's hair and beard got longer. I mean, I liked it. I wouldn't say I loved it per se, but I still thought it was pretty good, and it looked really good. I mean, the quality is definitely there, like we were saying earlier. Dennis Quaid, all the acting was great. I thought all the acting was really good.
Oh no!
we're getting taken down because of Cam. So let me get my thoughts out real quick. And yeah, like I said, I love 80s sci-fi. So this was just right up there. That I just liked it a lot. So
Yeah,
I'll probably
definitely.
give this a rewatch at some point. So yeah.
And what we were talking a little earlier about the practical effects in the movie, and the mask that they used for the character of Jerry. I mean, you could very clearly tell it was a mask. I mean,
Right.
it was clear as day.
Yeah.
But well, like I said earlier, the more that I watched it, and the more I started to look at it as like a stage play, the more forgiving I was of things like that. And it kind of brought about a different kind of charm to this movie that I wasn't really expecting to experience. I had gone in, thinking, oh, this is going to be like just, oh, there he is. Welcome back.
Somehow Michael returned.
I was going into this kind of expecting, cheesy 80s sci-fi, blasters and lasers and starfighters and all that, pretty typical staples of sci-fi of that era.
And then
what
Dennis Quaid pulls out a 22.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Shooting it from way up on a cliff, too, by the way.
And it's funny, as I'm watching that scene play out. Yeah, I'm like, he's right there. You've got the shot. And then he moves again, and then drops it in the lake. I was like, God!
That was one of those where I knew that was going to happen because they showed him step on that rock.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
I thought he was
going
in the
it
water
so blatantly.
Yeah. Also, that scene when it starts raining, and Jerry's all like, I don't know, like spazzing out with the rain. I thought maybe he didn't like water, and then he jumps into like that little like pond there. I was like, okay, I guess he doesn't mind it.
Well, the thing to me in that entire movie was when Jerry first starts learning English, and all they do is insult each other. They're just like, you ugly. You very ugly.
Well, I think the first English word we hear him say is shit.
Yeah.
Yep. And Dennis Quaid's like, what the heck do you mean?
He's like, not solid. He's like, what do you mean it's not solid? He goes and kicks it once.
Like, and then it falls over.
And it just implodes.
And see, I knew it was coming. I knew that was coming, but they delayed it just enough to where I thought, oh, okay, it's not happening.
Yeah. And Cam, I love the the character development as well, and like the world building, and actually like learning about the Drax and all the stuff.
There was so much care given to that. Yeah,
exactly. It wasn't just who's this? How'd they get here? Who cares? Like
crawl.
Exactly. And
I found it fascinating that they decided to make. They basically said that the Drax had basically Christianity. It was just they just called it something else. It's like they pretty much it parallels the like Christianity so much, and it's just I found that to be fascinating. Like space Jesus,
right?
Yeah, well,
I know he did. Yeah.
And they really did hammer that in, pretty effectively, because you have Jerry who's sitting there, reading his Drac Bible basically over and over again, and the core thing that he preaches is, if someone hurts you, kill them with kindness or something similar. Turn the other cheek. Yeah, and
if he steals your coat, give him your shirt.
Yeah. It's so you have these ideas that are fairly universal, and it was interesting that was what gave them that extra layer of bonding, because you have them in this hostile environment, and there's the survival aspect of if I die, you're alone. If you die, I'm alone. We have to work together to survive this. And that there are stories where people bond over that, and they're exceptionally well done. But with this, them bonding over the shared ideas behind their own personal philosophies, that was very, very well done. I liked that aspect quite a bit.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I think one of the most profound moments in the entire movie is the very last line in the whole movie, and it says that when the fullness of time had come and the kid had grown up and had his own children, that his name was added to their lineage. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here like bawling my eyes out. I'm like, he made such a huge impact just by being someone's friend that they're like, you are now part of our history.
Yes.
You are part of their 200-mile long history.
Yeah. He's like, just because you have a lineage that you can spout off for 200 miles.
Yeah.
Well, that reminded me a lot of the ending of The Last Samurai. You know, whenever Tom Cruise presents Ken Watanabe's katana to the Japanese emperor, and the emperor says, "Tell me how he died," and Tom Cruise says, "I'll tell you how he lived." It was very reminiscent of that moment, and I feel like, you know, again, it comes back to how much the characters affected each other, and to have, you know, this outsider, this person who really has no, you know, business being there, to have him affect an entire race, an entire nation of people so profoundly. I was deeply affected by that.
Yeah. Well, and near the end of the movie, because I remember getting like a third of the way into the movie and being like, Jesus, a lot has happened. Like, what next? And I remember near the end of the movie, it seemed like the first third and the last third was just a lot happening at once, and then the middle third was just like, you know, and then they found shells to put on their house, and then, you know,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the last third of the movie, I would say, it was like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and this, and it's like the only way that they were going to be able to let Dennis Quaid's character fulfill his promise of taking the kid back to his home planet and all that is if he rescues the aliens that are imprisoned by the scavengers. And it's like that is a lot to try and have happen in the last like 30 to 45 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like he gets shot, he's dead. He gets rescued from all injuries, shaved, steals a jet, goes back to the planet, infiltrates the smugglers' operation, kills a dude, like throws a dude into a meat grinder.
Yeah.
Basically. I mean, it was made for rocks, but like dude gets grinded up. And then he finds the kid, fights the scavengers, almost dies again, and gets rescued because his two friends who were like, let him go. Like if he wants to be an asshole. And like they followed him anyway and saved him again. And it's just like, it's been 20 minutes, guys. What are we doing?
There was a whole lot that went on there, but
that's the type of story your parents tell you how they got to school every day.
Had to walk uphill both ways
in the snow,
barefoot. Had to share my mittens with my sister
with a heart on. I mean, what?
But the interesting thing about that particular plot thread is so that this movie was actually based on a short novel. I forget who the author was, but the author of that short novel had come out and said that they were actually persuaded to add in the subplot of the scavengers in that mine.
There's a short novel for this?
Yes.
Oh.
They're persuaded to include the subplot of the scavengers in that mine because the name Enemy Mine would then make more sense.
That's true. I was wondering where they got. I was like, where's the title going to make sense? I kept thinking the movie was Enemy Mind at first.
I interpreted it as like Enemy of Mine. Like, oh, enemy mine. Like that was.
So
I
that's actually the correct interpretation because the original
Dang it, I'm not
title,
smart.
the original title was meant to be German. So like mine,
Mine
the German
enemy.
word for the German possessive word enemy.
Yeah.
So but they put in that scavenger mine subplot to make that title sound better, basically.
That makes sense. That makes more sense.
Yeah, because if you look at the filmography of Wolfgang Peterson, he's like, but prior to the 80s, it was mostly German cinema. So yeah, so he had that kind of carryover. But then because of the studio, they were like, oh well, we got to do this so that way it makes more sense. We don't like your German language.
It's like with Harry Potter, calling it Sorcerer's Stone instead of Philosopher's Stone.
Philosopher's Stone, yep.
Yeah.
But what's funny? Okay, you know what? No, we're not going to talk about Harry Potter because I will go down that rabbit hole and we will be here for the next 3 hours. Just an observation about Philosopher's Stone is that almost nowhere in the rest of the books or movies is anybody referred to as a philosopher or a sorcerer.
I know.
Ever brought. It's like, yeah, I think it's only in the first book that anyone is ever mentioned as a sorcerer.
I think so, yeah.
I don't recall. It's been a long time since I read those books. Probably since like middle school, maybe. But oh well.
I used to read those books like the entire series once a year.
Oh really?
Wow.
Yes,
That's impressive.
There's a reason I'm writing fanfic at this point because I know it's so much that it's just boring.
I gotcha.
Anyway. But interesting parallel coming back. An interesting parallel I saw with this movie was with Underworld. If you remember in Underworld, that whole like, oh, the Lycans are bad, and you guys started this war, and then like I know you want to be on camera, Kitty, but it's just like the head Lycan, I can't remember his name now. Lucian's like, no, like this is what actually it's like. It was the vampires that started. It was like there was a very similar thread here. Was like, Dennis Quaid's like, you guys are trying to conquer all these planets. He's like, no, we were here.
Yeah,
you guys kind of came along and started. He's like, oh, we dissolved the Federation. It's like I heard that and I went, I'm like, oh my God, they're America. It's like we broke up the USSR, so now we get to invade Ukraine, in the 80s. It's just like that's what it sounded like to me. I was just like, oh no.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid's character's last name might as well have been Columbus.
Right. Yeah. I found this planet.
Oh goodness!
Or this planet is this planet.
No, but the planet that they're on, I forget what it's called. It's like Kylith 4 or something similar.
Yeah.
Well, when they crash on there, the first thing that we see is Dennis Quaid without his helmet on. I was like, whoa! They crash on this strange planet. They don't know what's on it, and the first thing you do is take your helmet off.
Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways.
There were a few moments in this movie where that applied.
Yeah, there was some interesting logic that they incorporated in there. There were several instances of where I was like, wow, that makes no sense.
Yeah,
but in the grand scheme of this intricate tapestry of a movie, I ended up being okay with it. So,
well, and you think about it too, and back then, I don't think people probably, and even now, people don't want necessarily everything explained for them. Like, okay,
right.
But Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, oh, all right. I wouldn't just take my helmet off, but I don't know how you would have tested either that the air was safe. You
And
know?
in that scene, whenever his friend, I think his name was Joey, died,
Yeah.
I forget exactly what his last words were, but
It was basically don't call so and so balloon
white balloon.
The white balloon.
White balloon, yeah.
She doesn't like it, and can you make sure the rest of the guys don't call her that either?
Yeah. I'm like, wow, that's a pretty somber thing to go out on.
Yeah.
And then when he does, finally die, Dennis Quaid, he reacted in the most Dennis Quaid way possible. And I kind of mentioned this before the stream started. Oh, here we go, Dave. I can't see it on the screen. It's like in Prometheus when they see the black oil alien thing, and the first thing he does is take off his helmet and try to touch it. Yeah.
Can I pet that dog?
I'm
Can I pet that dog?
But we had I think I mentioned this before the stream started. Dennis Quaid, whenever he has this face, I call it stern surprise. He has really wide eyes, but a very stone face, and that's how he reacts to pretty much almost everything, and that's how he reacted to his friend dying. I'm like, oh, come on. Give me a little like wobble in the chin or frown or something. Come on, Dennis Quaid, you're better than this.
Maybe the director was like, just look surprised.
React by not reacting. That's perfect. That's perfect.
In about 30 years, there's going to be a Star Wars show with a character where she reacts as the same face for every emotion. Do that.
We're not talking about the Acolyte on this show.
Oh, I thought he was talking about Ray.
What?
I thought he was referring to Ray. I mean,
Ray has lots of crazy reactions. What are you talking about?
Uh-oh. You got Leia mad.
Okay. One of these days, we're going to do a Star Wars sequel trilogy stream, and I will debate the ever-loving hell out of anybody who comes on there.
I mean,
you started this.
You wear that bikini again, and
yes, I like that. The professor. Have you heard of Mickey Mouse?
That was so great. He's like, and then later on, he's like, did you forget what you said about my teacher or whatever? He's like, and he's like, did you forget what you said about Mickey Mouse? And I'm just like, why are you like why are you defending like a cartoon mouse?
Jerry's like, Mickey Mouse was a great teacher, and Dennis Quaid looks at him and is like, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. He's like, yeah, something.
It's like a sheltered kid who isn't allowed to watch anything, and you try to make a reference, and they're like, "Who's that?" You're like, oh, great teacher.
And we're talking about Dennis Quaid reactions. So if you guys notice the first time it rains on that planet, it just starts out of nowhere, just piss pouring rain. He looks up with his mouth wide open. I'm like, what are you doing? For all you know, it could be raining sulfuric acid. Come on. He's looking up just like,
brings a whole new meaning to the phrase acid rain.
Oh my God. Huh? Chocolate rain.
What do you gotta say about it?
And others feel the pain.
He's also kind of in a desperate stage of he hasn't had water in who knows how long. I mean, with the time jumps in this movie, I wouldn't be surprised if he had already been on the planet for, hours
days.
Days even.
Yeah, I think by the end of it, they had said he was on there for 3 years.
Yes. Yeah. Which I was glad they did, because I kept wondering how long has he how long has he been here? So I'm glad that they included that.
Yeah.
Cam's like, or you could just go read the novel and it would tell you.
I wouldn't know. I never read it, so. But
who cares?
Yeah. Why are they on this planet? Where do they come from? Who are the Drax? Next scene. Oh God!
You dare question the director? Fired.
I am so glad that this movie has so much more world building than freaking
Yes.
Crawl.
It actually kind of hurt my brain because I was used to Crawl like movies. I was like, I have to learn.
Oh,
I went
what
and looked up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, I went and looked up like Louis Gossett Jr.'s IMDb page.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I know I've heard of him. Like, I just couldn't think of for the life of me like what he was in. And as I'm like going through this, I'm like, dear God, he's in everything. Like I'm scrolling through it, and Little House on the Prairie, 6 Million Jeffersons, Good Stereo. Like what? He's in stuff like he died last year, and he's in stuff that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah,
well,
that can happen.
Yeah, that's actually a bit more common than you think.
Right, but like he's in a few things.
Yeah,
that haven't
true.
Like,
yeah,
like
it was like Carrie Fisher with The Last Jedi. You know,
he has 10. He has 10 upcoming.
Wow,
on IMDb.
He had a full plate, I guess.
Soul to Keep, Awaken the Reaper, Capture the Flag, Redemption, Sin, A Scorched Earth, Unplugged, Elephants in the Room, Forget to Remember, and On Smoother Dirt. Mind you, like 4 of those are in pre-production, so those might have just been like projects he was attached to until he died. But like,
that's true. Yeah.
But
well, I mean, and here's the thing. Also, I mean, just because he was in the movie doesn't mean he had a huge role. Like for all we know, it could have been like he comes in and he says, "Hey, how you doing?"
Down the hall to the left.
Yeah. He could have been the Grip for all we know. I mean,
yeah,
he's a sound guy.
Yeah, he's holding the boom mic with like bacon grease running down his face because he didn't have enough time to make it there from breakfast.
He was in Undercover Grandpa.
Oh. He was in Jaws 3.
Yeah, he was in Jaws 3.
Is that Jaws the Revenge?
That's Jaws 3D.
Or is that the fourth one?
That's Jaws. I don't know. I honestly haven't. I think I've only seen the first one, to be honest.
Jaws 2 was all right, but
in Jaws 3 with Dennis Quaid. There we go.
Was Jaws 3 with Dennis Quaid?
And he sees the shark coming, and he's just like,
so after Dennis Quaid gets captured by this alien, I laughed my ass off. So first of all, he goes up and tries to grab his gun out of his escape pod. And it shocks the ever-loving hell out of him. For like 30 seconds, this thing is zapping him. But instead of the whole body erupts into seizure, he's going,
what the hell?
What'd you do? Jaws Revenge had Michael Keaton. Okay, yes, Michael Caine. Right. Michael Caine. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Michael Caine.
Michael
Not
Caine.
Michael Keaton. He didn't go
for that movie.
Michael Keaton did not go. It was with Michael Keaton, and he said, "I'm Jaws."
Hey, can you guys see me, or is my camera off?
No, we can't see you.
Your camera's off. We don't want to know what you're doing. You can keep it off. It's okay.
Gone again.
The sequel.
Yeah. So, but after Dennis Quaid gets shocked and he gets captured by Jerry, he wakes up and the first thing he says is, "Hey, I'm hungry."
Yeah, like he's calling the shots. I'm like, dude, you're about to get killed.
He sees Jerry eating like a goose egg or something like that, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I want some of that." You understand that? I'm hungry. And that, so that the whole like learning or trying to convey things with that language barrier, to be honest, I thought was kind of the weakest thing about their character dynamic, because you know what, when it starts off, he's like, we have to make shelter.
Yeah.
Shelter. I'm like, who the hell is going to look at this and interpret it as
I would
shelter.
think like hat or like I'm king or something.
Yeah, it's like I'm wearing a really cool hat right now. It's yeah, that they could have done that quite a bit better, but no, it's short lived, luckily, and as we move on and their character dynamics, really blossoms and they get to know each other. I was like, oh, okay, this is what I was waiting for. This is actually good stuff here. This is the meat of this story.
Well, and there's the part where they've built a shelter and Dennis Quaid is going hunting and he falls into that like sand trap thing. And the thing comes out like this, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna get out because it's not gonna get that graphic, is it? And it just latches on him. And I thought he was gonna like it was gonna
rip his leg off.
Yes, I thought the same thing because he was like, Jerry. Somehow Jerry hears him from like however far away and is running for like 30 seconds to come get him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, wow, that got pretty intense.
Yeah, well as the thing is pulling him
hands a little bit.
As the thing is pulling him, you can see like it tearing through the skin. I was like, holy shit, he's gonna lose a leg.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't help but laugh. While he's hunting and he falls into this pit, he's lying in it face down, and he goes, "You belly rotten son of a bitch."
Yeah, what's funny is that he said that, but he would always say, "Get back here, little mother," and like,
and then he vaults over the log right into the pit. Yeah. He calls everything a mother. And I'm like, oh come on, you couldn't have snuck in just one F-bomb, just one.
It's like in Evan Almighty when he goes, "Mother, father, brother, sister, ouch."
Yeah.
But I thought that was funny. It was like we're not going to cross the line there. We can't be rated R.
Well, it was PG-13. At that time, they could have gotten away with up to 3 F-bombs, but they didn't do it.
And I think he says it like 3 times or 4 times. So yeah, they could have maybe. I don't know if it was too short in time. If they would have had to be like, I don't know. But yeah, I thought that was funny. That he's like he stops at mother, but then says "son of a gun." After that.
Yeah, and the creature designs, when you do see them in this movie, I thought were pretty cool. Like that sand pit monster reminded me a lot of the Sarlacc in Return of the Jedi.
Yes, yeah, from Timu.
From Timu, definitely. But I mean, just seeing that one tentacle slowly rising up out of there, I thought was pretty damn freaky. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was kind of like, ooh, like.
Yeah,
but it was interesting to find out, like you said later, that it was a big creature. It was almost like the xenomorph in Alien. It was like it opens its mouth and then a little,
Yeah,
it's actually pretty cool.
There was a lot of imagination that went into this. Not just with the creatures, but with the setting itself. I mean, you have the rain that just starts up out of nowhere. You have the frequent meteor showers. I mean, the environment just had so much thought put into it, and like I had said before, you can tell when they're on a set, which is most of the time. But you have the set, and then you have the matte painting in the background. You can see where it's separated, and I see it every time it comes up. But with how much I enjoyed this movie, I found myself just really not caring. I know that I assign this word to a lot of things, especially when it comes to the 80s. But yeah, I found the care that went into the crafting of this movie really charming.
Yeah, it was. You appreciate it, like you said, when you see the effort put into it, and they didn't. I mean, they really made sure that it looked good, and like you said, but like in the 80s, the audience probably could not tell the difference because that was new stuff. It's just like when you could see that they have the green screen because you see you see the line.
Oh yeah, the masking out, yeah.
Yeah, you saw that a lot in Willow, but it's but it's still a cool, and I think too we don't see sets like that a whole lot nowadays.
No, not anymore. Well, I mean, especially with something like The Mandalorian, because they pioneered that was an LED screen or something.
Yeah,
that makes it look like they're on location,
which can look nice, like it can look good, but it's if it's when it's overused, it starts to feel like, okay, that just
It's a
feels
little
like
too clean.
yeah.
It's just a little
It's
too clean.
and it's almost like with CGI too. It's like, okay, a little bit's okay, a little bit's fine, but the more you put it on and the more you use it, it just starts to feel kind of
Yeah.
like,
Well,
you know.
I'm thinking of something like the Batman from 2022.
Yes.
There's a reason why that movie looks so damn good, and it wasn't just Greg Fraser's an outstanding director of photography. He purposely made every shot almost look dirty. You
Yes.
know, where you have the one small thing that's in focus and everything else is almost looks like like you wiped your hand across a wet paint,
Yeah.
a wet painting, and well, when you have that much care given to bringing the subject of your shot to the very forefront, or if what the audience is supposed to pay attention to is in the background and the forefront is blurred out or something, it attracts the eye. And you see what the director wants you to see. Whereas when you have these, big, MCU's type stuff where everything is so crisp and clean,
like
and
Quantumania. Oh
yeah,
man, that whole movie was just CGI.
yeah, and yeah, everything was perfectly in focus, and you didn't know where your eyes were supposed to go on screen. You're just supposed to take in this huge cluster jam of a shot. And it really takes away from the experience because because your mind can attach, well, your mind can associate what you're seeing with what's important. So
Well,
I love movies like that.
and this isn't the only reason why these movies aren't as good as the Lord of the Rings, but like The Hobbit, they did have some on location scenes, but a
Sure.
lot was green screen, and
Yeah.
you could tell, and it kind of ruins the experience a little bit because the Lord of the Rings was all location and you could see it. The
Yeah.
only time they use CGI is there's a shot of the mountains and a hawk like flies by. That's CGI,
Right.
and then obviously the Balrog. But I mean, and like in the Batman, the shot where Batman and Selena are on that building and it's like the sunset or
Yeah.
something. I
Yeah,
did not know that
that's
was the
definitely
volume.
that's definitely a set, and
Right, but it still looks good,
yeah. Well, if you're familiar with the filmmaking process, you can look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's a set. But it's how well they mask it is what matters.
And because that's the thing with the volume, when it first started out, they did not overuse it. It was used as like a tool to help with some scenes, and then it started to become, we're just going to film the whole series on the volume, and
Right.
that's when it started to become a problem. But yeah, that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about this movie, and just a lot of movies in this time in the 80s and 90s was you could see, you could really, you felt it, you felt the environment, and so yeah.
Yeah, and
I think
this
Michael's in the background or the backstage.
I don't see him.
Oh,
Michael, if you're watching, try again, bud. Yeah, I don't see him on my end. Well, yeah, this movie had such a large emphasis on environment, but because the environment itself was kind of one of the main characters of the movie. Our heroes had to learn how to survive in it, and and when you have a story that unravels in that way, obviously you want the difficulties that they face not only to seem, dangerous and almost insurmountable, but you also want it to be believable. And if they were put in an environment where everything looked super clean and everything looked artificial,
yeah,
then it would take away heavily from the experience.
Like even the cave, I don't know where they filmed this movie, but like actually being like in a cave, like you see how big it is when what's the name of the little Zemus? Zamus. When Zamus runs off and he's running through the cave, I mean that's a pretty big set. I don't think they built it, but the fact that they found that cave or something was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I want to see where this was
Am I just now showing up as being back?
Yes.
As far as I can see.
Okay, then. I've been here for like pretty much since I left, and I've been watching the stream on Streamlabs and just like sitting.
It was
I'm like,
filmed in the Canary Islands.
oh, that's interesting.
It just is what it's saying here. I might do some more deep diving.
There were a couple of scenes that were shot on a location. I think the scene where you see them standing on that cliff face and Jerry starts singing. I'm pretty sure that's a location as well.
Okay, so all the locations were in Spain, according to IMDb. Oh no, I'm sorry, 3. Then they filmed in Iceland and Germany as well.
Okay.
Germany was studio. The Iceland scenes were all deleted scenes, and then the rest were Spain.
I knew that they had to have done some like on-scene locations because there's that one shot of Dennis Quaid like walking through the desert, and I'm like, that's not a set. That's, you know, if it is, that's the biggest. They made the biggest set because they did such a wide, like a panning wide shot of that, and I'm just like, unless they built this gigantic desert set just for this one shot.
Or got a little Dennis Quaid miniature and we're just walking.
It's
stop
just
motion Dennis Quaid.
Really amazing detailed clay.
Hey, at least we didn't get a 3-minute long walking scene of Dennis Quaid running through the desert.
Oh my god. Stop reminding me of Crawl.
I'm starting to be really like it's sounding like I'm really grateful that I wasn't in on that episode.
So this was a big thing. Well, we talked about this for like 10 minutes during the
we
Crawl
laughed
stream.
about it.
Well, so there was a
Whoa.
there's a scene in Krull after he meets his mentor character and he's sent off to find the legendary glaive that literally almost has no part in the freaking story. It's in the middle of this mountain cave, and there's like a 3-minute and 40-second scene of him just mountain climbing to get to this cave. And I watched the times. It starts at like 21 minutes and 20 seconds, and it ends at like 24 minutes and 50 seconds. I was like, oh my god, get on with it already. Now 3.5 minutes doesn't seem like a long time when you think about it, but when you're watching a movie,
when you're watching it, yeah.
When you're watching a movie and you're watching 3 minutes and
you're not
3.5 minutes of
expecting that
nothing
to
happening.
happen. Yeah.
Oh my god, it killed me.
Not Lord of the Rings, where that's cool.
No, yeah, exactly.
Because they do like these far off painting shots where you don't even see him until they start to zoom in a bit. He's just a little speck climbing up the mountain, and I'm like, okay.
And they didn't have what was it? Was Howard Shore the one that did the Lord of the Rings soundtrack?
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't have Howard Shore, you know.
Unfortunately not.
No, but they did have I think
James Horner.
Yeah, which he's great, but
did back-to-back watches for us before this show.
Yeah, he did.
I was looking for the music score. I was like, what are the odds he did this movie as well?
I was so upset that I missed the Willow episode because I grew up on Willow. We watched Willow like every night for a month at one point.
Yeah,
like there was a point in time where like the best insult that we could come up with for somebody was "Willow, you idiot."
I found my new pickup line from Willow. Want to breed?
Either that or how staunchly they wanted to hammer into our heads. This character's name is Mad Mardigan. How many times can we say his name in this movie? Mad Mardigan,
yell it.
Stop!
Yeah, yelling it. Yeah, not just saying it, yelling it.
Mad Mardigan.
Oh man,
goodness.
Ooh. Yeah. Have either of you seen the continuation like TV show that they did?
Unfortunately,
on Disney
yes.
Plus?
No, I never saw that.
I did,
That was my
unfortunately.
first time watching Willow. Period.
Really?
So, no, I haven't seen the series.
Unfortunately, I did see it.
I will say the series. I didn't finish it. I started it. That should tell you enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool.
It was a show.
It didn't have. Listen, if they would have brought back Val Kilmer, I'd have been okay, 100% on board.
I told Cam, I don't know if you remember, Michael, with the marketing, they made it seem like Christian Slater was going to be like in the show, and he was only in for like an episode.
Really?
Yeah, and it was because all the trailers like showed him like throughout it and all like the promotional stuff. I was like, okay, he's gonna be in the show. Not that that's the only reason why I watched, but
Right.
I mean, he literally was in like they was like episode 4 or 5, just for like a few scenes, and then that was it.
I really wish at some point in the TV show Willow would have made some like just swish and flick reference.
Yeah, to Harry Potter. Yeah,
because he was Flitwick.
Leviosa. You know.
Yeah.
Yes, Dave, you're absolutely right. This was the same director's Neverending Story. We talked about that earlier. Neverending Story, Air Force One, A Perfect Storm.
Get off my plane.
Yeah. Troy.
Cam's about to say, "Get off my stream."
Well, I mean, I was thinking more. Clint Eastwood and Gran Turismo. Oh no, Gran Torino. Get off my lawn.
I was like, Gran Turismo, the racing movie?
No, Gran Torino.
Like, yeah.
Well, which is also a damn good movie. Gran Torino is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, I'd check it out.
I own it, but I haven't seen it.
To the list.
Yeah. What are the movie we talking about adding to the list that Cam said no?
We're
gonna have to go back and watch the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, I'll have to go back.
Michael and I were chanting for a movie. Cam was like, no. Oh well.
All right. And does anybody have any final thoughts about this movie?
Just that I'm glad, like I've said before with a lot of the movies, I'm glad I watched this. And, because like you, Cam, I had never even knew this movie existed.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about doing this shows is it puts movies on my radar that I'm like, hey, I actually really enjoyed this movie. Never even heard of it. So, good movie. If you haven't seen it, I'd watch it. It's a good time. And yeah, I think I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd, which is my really good rating.
That's reasonable.
So,
yeah.
Because I break down it by half stars rating. So
yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Michael?
I really enjoyed this movie. Like you guys, I had never even heard of this movie up until now. And it was one of the, a lot of times I'm very much a comfort movie person. So like watching new movies that I've never even heard of before is very rare for me. And I was just like, it's Dennis Quaid. I'm sure it'll be a good time, And I sat down and I watched it. And I'm sitting there and I said at the beginning, I got, oh, what are you trying to be? Star Wars vibes at the beginning. Yeah. And then I got high budget Star Trek vibes. And then it was just like, it went from like feeling like a Star Trek project to like Survivor Man. And like, because he builds a shelter and he makes a bow out of like lead pipes. And I don't even know what he made the arrows out of,
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably the sticks.
Yeah, man, they went right through that guy's throat. Like,
like went through the back of his.
I know. I was like, geez. And then he turns around and is like,
he's like, and then like later on, he's like, I know you. You killed my brother.
Even though his hair is way shorter and his beard is shaved, he was like, I know you.
Yeah, it's like I very much appreciate the fact, a lot of movies stranded, they'll find some way to shave, and it's like, no, that's not how that. Like they're like, oh, I found a sharp rock, and I just no, it's not how that would. You would tear your face up.
Well, you can see with my 37 hairs, count them. It's they're there. I would probably only need a sharp rock.
6 counted them.
So,
but But I really love that they went full. I mean, I guess I can't say they went full Tom Hanks in Castaway because that happens later.
Well said, Jerry.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dennis Quaid
I'm
actually had a
sorry,
friend in this
Jerry.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we find out that Jerry was just a figment of his imagination the whole time.
Oh.
He just
And then What I've Done starts playing.
Fade to Black, directed by Michael Bay.
Oh my god.
Wait, Jerry, you weren't real? What I've done. Yeah.
And
sorry.
then post credit scene, Jerry will return.
Jerry will return, an Enemy Mine 2.
Mind
Electric-
again.
Yeah, Mind again.
Electric Boogaloo. You
Oh,
thought the
man.
ship was shocking before.
Coming to a theater this summer.
It'll be a shocking experience.
This
For
summer,
30 seconds,
Dennis
and you'll
Quaid
just be doing this.
gets mined a second time. Record scratch.
And then it just,
but the place
and then
before
it's
that is you wouldn't steal someone's car, so why would you steal their movies?
Rob Schneider is stranded on a deserted planet
oh god.
until he
damn it.
finds an enemy mine.
Jesus Christ. No.
Man,
Dennis Quaid's character is now played by Rob Schneider. Does that mean that
Oh my god.
does that mean that Jerry is now Adam Sandler?
Chris Rock.
No!
Chris Rock.
Well, to be fair,
Chris Rock.
Jerry and Adam Sandler have a similarly shaped head. So,
Oh, God
well, now that we've completely flown off the rails and started talking about Rob Schneider, I'd say that about does it for today's Cam and Focus weekly stream. To anybody who has just tuned in and hasn't seen it yet, I'm going to give y'all one last little glamour shot here.
The trilogy. Here we go.
I've been
Oh man.
trying to back this feet for so
I love how Cam
long.
can't hear us.
Someone make
I
that
know
the
he
thumbnail.
It somehow becomes this gets like
Let's
2,000
get it
views,
on.
3,000 views.
All right. Does anybody have any shameless plugs, Andrew?
Tomorrow night we might have MCU Monday. David's not feeling the best right now, so that's kind of a TBD.
Hope you're feeling better, bud.
Yes, for sure. Well, not me, but David.
Well, yes, I know.
Not
Directed to
yeah,
him.
Yeah. Instead of Thursday night, we're gonna do Cantina Happy Hour Friday night because it's Star Wars Podcast Day. Not sure exactly what we're talking about, but probably just I don't know. That's it as far as I go. Do you want me to do the rest of Feast of Fandoms or just leave it? At
Oh,
that?
yeah, you can do the rest. Go ahead.
So then Saturday is Geek Gauntlet, and they talk about everything in the geek world. I skipped Wednesday, so I'm gonna revert. Go back in time to Wednesday. War of the Stars will have an episode out, and then I'll be back here next Sunday talking about who knows what.
What are we talking about next week, Cam?
So I'm not 100% sure yet. I haven't looked at the list in a while, and I do have to do some rearranging on there because Debbie had gone through and added a whole bunch of 80s movies, and so I want to kind of disperse, the movies that we're talking about, just so that way we're not doing like 6 weeks of 80s movies and 6 weeks of this type of movie. I want every week to be very, very different. So I'm not 100% sure yet what we're going to be talking about, but once I know, I'm going to put out the announcement.
And guys, we know how much you liked it, but Cam will not be in a costume next week. We're sorry if you unsubscribe, but
unless we get us to 100 subscribers by next week, and he will wear it again.
we just keep coming up with these subscriber goals, and Cam just
so let's keep it realistic. If I can
40.
reach, if I can reach 50 subscribers by next week, I will do this stream in Daisy Dukes and a crop top.
Let's go. Hell yeah, brother.
If it's got to be by this coming Sunday though.
All right. I'm gonna hack Cam's Facebook and get that out.
Send it out to all my contacts. It's just like, you want to see something cool?
Cam has an event you might be interested in.
No, see, you need to figure out a way to send out like a phishing email, but instead of getting their information, when they click the link, it just auto subscribes them.
Yeah. Hot singles in your area.
Well, see, if I do that, my subscriber count's gonna go whoop 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 whoop.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Michael, do you have any shameless plugs, bud?
Yeah. I'm a fanfic.
Well, do you have a website where you put that stuff onto?
It's on the fanfic website. I can drop a link in like the comments section of this video once it's like uploaded. But it's
that's cool. I didn't know there was a website for that.
Yeah, so the premise of it is instead of the Weasleys, it's Cedric Diggory and his father that Harry meets at King's Cross the first time he goes to Hogwarts. And so it's like, how does that affect the way he like enters the wizarding world and like his preconceived notions, because in the canon he goes to Hogwarts already with the preconception of Slytherin is evil and I want to stay away from that.
Yeah.
Not a typical like Harry goes into Slytherin fanfic. He actually ends up in Hufflepuff. Spoilers.
Okay.
So I am 100%. I'm teetering between making this a serious story because I plan to make it span the 7 years he's at Hogwarts. And I'm debating, do I want this to be a serious story or am I going to make it like am I going to make it like a Seth Rogen style like stuff?
Oh god.
Literally, okay, the story is called Harry Potter and the Secret of Greenhouse 4, and the idea is that Slytherin has his secret chamber, but Hufflepuff had a secret greenhouse where she growed her own weed. And it's magical weed, and it like helps you focus and like.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers is gonna HBO Max is gonna announce this as a series, and Michael's gonna sue them.
But like the concept, because I'm like I've read a lot of fanfics, and I've never you never see them ever actually do something that like normal teenagers would do. Like smoke weed. Like it's such an unexplored area in Harry Potter fanfic. And I'm just like, there's my market.
Yeah.
There's my niche. So I've already alluded in the story a little bit about something weird going on in Hufflepuff House that Harry's not aware of yet, but Cedric's like super excited and he wants to bring Harry into the fold. And so
yeah. Well, drop a link to your fanfic page in the comments, and we can direct people there.
Will do.
And then virus gets on your computer.
Yeah. Your computer's just spammed with pictures of me wearing this that you cannot click out of.
And he's doing the smolder like The Rock.
Oh God. Well, and all right. So yeah. As far as I go, I'll be on with the Cantina Happy Hour this coming week. It's going to be Friday this week at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then next Sunday is going to be the next Cam and Focus Weekly at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, not 100% sure what movie we're doing yet, but I will find out for you guys here in just a few minutes, and I'll drop it in the group chat, and awesome. We'll get the ball rolling on that. So. If that's going to be all, thank you everybody who tuned in. Thank you to everybody who participated in the chat. And thank you to everybody who made fun of me for my attire. I appreciate it.
Hey, hats off to you for actually following through, though.
Hey, like I said, the Cam and Focus calendar is coming. So
pre-ordered down below in the comments.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Link in description.
All right. So, Andrew, Michael, thank you guys very much for joining me. That'll be all for this
Thanks.
episode of Cam and Focus Weekly. Everybody have a good week.